Yeah, it is the Autumn Windbags. RJ Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. Right when we thought that the Raiders were just going to make the AFC North their bitch, already beat the Steelers, already beat the Ravens, 2-0 against the AFC North. Like, all right, take care of the Bengals. Go 3-0 with the unofficial AFC North champions. Cincinnati comes to town. Raiders take a dump in a game where we talked about it on Wednesday's show, Soto. We were both 5-4, both on 2-game losing streaks, both in the same situation in their division. Massive crossroads game. Fork in the road for both teams. Almost exactly the same situation for both teams. 2 decades of mediocrity for both franchises. Flirting with something good this season. Who's going to step up and decide to take the season by the balls? And it was the Cats in Cincinnati that decided to do so.
Yeah, and a lot of things showed this week that really cemented what a lot of us maybe saw and thought, but didn't really want to admit or didn't want to think that it was a continuing problem. But the Bengals looked better coached. They were more disciplined. They only had one penalty of the game. They're more disciplined. They schemed their players a little bit better. They were able to adjust mid-game. They didn't really play particularly well, but they didn't make mistakes, and we made a lot, and that was the difference.
Defense held up their end of the bargain for the Raiders for 3+ quarters, holding Joe Burrow to just 20 completions, 148 yards, 5.1 yard average. Atrocious for Joe Burrow. No interceptions though for Burrow, for a guy who came in tied for league leading interceptions. Left a lot of interceptions on the table. The Raiders defense. Trayvon Moorick had one that was open. There were some dead ducks that Burrow threw that should have gotten picked. But again, that's not our defense, right? Our defense isn't a aggressive get the turnover. It's let Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue do their thing. Everyone else kind of hang back and play support roles. And for the first, 2.5 to 3 quarters, Crosby and Ngakoue just had their way with Burrow. A lot of pressure, beating him up. He was limping going into the half, had to ride the bike to stay warm. But because the Raiders defense was on the field for 37 minutes and 20 seconds, they got tired, and Joe Mixon just went off. They kept Mixon in the run game pretty contained again early, but Mixon eventually got 30 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, over 4 yards average per carry. This is one of those games that looked like the defense could keep the Raiders in it, but offense didn't hold up their end of the deal, and the defense, sputtered in fatigue late in the game.
I think it was a little bit more than that. I challenged this last week when you said it. Yeah, our defense isn't like an aggressive style defense, but it is built to take advantage of opportunities for turnovers when they're there. So when you do force and you do frustrate the quarterback as our defense does, when they give you the opportunity, that's why you have to take advantage of it. And we just haven't the last couple of weeks. We had 2 dropped interceptions this week. We had 4 last week. And I'm not gonna let the defense off the hook so much, because they made a lot of really, really dumb plays on third down that cost us 10 points. Those were
penalties.
It was absolutely terrible. So I'm not gonna let them off the hook. I think everyone in the organization shares in this loss. And it was just a really, really bad showing when they needed to play their best. We need to show, okay, this is who we are going to be moving forward. 4-4 is not going to cut it the rest of the year. We need to have a winning record for the rest of the season going forward. And they played probably one of their worst games. And it's sad to see. I'm going to try to keep as positive as I can on what we need to change moving forward. But it's going to be hard, man, because this is what we've seen the last few years.
Talking about penalties, some really, really bad time to penalties by the defense. Yannick Ngakoue had that strip sack early, right? Gave us essentially 3 points, right? Strip sack, good return, put us in the red zone right away. Got only a field goal out of it. Next series, roughing the passer penalty, which kept a drive alive, which cost us 3 points. So he literally got us 3 points and cost us 3 points in back-to-back drives. And then there was the other drive, I think it was late second quarter, where Quentin Jefferson had a neutral zone infraction, which kept a drive alive. And then Faison had a helmet-to-helmet penalty on third down, which kept the drive alive and led to a touchdown. Faison also had a pass interference on a second down play in the second half as well. So Faison has been playing great as a corner, a lot of like broken up passes, tackling well, but kind of like the rest of the defense. Because they play a style of defense again where it's like aggressive pass rush and everything else is just let the offense make the mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Which if you do that, that's okay, but you have to be mistake free. Can't be doing all those penalties. Can't be missing tackles. Like, if you want to be a conservative defense, you can certainly win that way, especially with Crosby and Ngakoue doing most of the work. But then you have to be a super disciplined, low margin of error defense. And
we're not. We're not disciplined, and we don't take advantage of opportunities when they come to us. Let's talk a little bit about situational football. We were kind of going back and forth.
This is a situation where I don't want to talk about football.
Yeah. So a lot of times you see where teams have a lot more yards than another team, and they have a lot more big plays and this and that. But you're wondering, like, wow, this, Danny Jones only threw for 100 yards. How did they win that game? Joe Burrow threw for under 200 yards. Like, how did they win this game? And it's situational football, and we're not very good at it. And I dare to say we're probably one of the worst in the league, having watched a lot of game film, not just the Raiders games, but their opponents' previous game. So let me run down a little bit here what I just have down here. So Ngakoue, strip sack, got a first and goal, right? Basically a 3 and out, a 3 and field goal. Okay.
Was it first and goal? We were on like the 15. We were in the red zone for sure.
Was it? We were in the red zone. We were in the red zone.
Definitely in the red zone. I don't think it was first and goal, but yeah, red zone.
So,
anyway.
No shots into the end zone.
Run play for 3 yards. Incompletion, right?
No. A run play for a running play for 3 yards. A negative pass. 2-yard pass to Waller. And then an incomplete swing pass. Yeah. So nothing. I mean, you're there. At least take one shot into the end zone if you think the team gives you a gift, right? Mm-hmm. That wasn't the case. I thought that was normally like when the first 1 or 2 plays when you get a turnover in your opponent's end, take a shot pretty quick, fairly soon.
That's when you feel jacked, right? Strip.
That's
sack.
when you do it.
In the red zone, like that's when you're like dick is out. You're like, all right, fade route to Edwards, fucking choice route to Waller. Like that's when you're jacked. That's when you're like, oh, let's tiptoe our way into the end zone. It's like, no, man, so, again, dagger, bam, kill the cat.
Situational football. So that's one. We start off the game, okay. We had the following drive from the Bengals, a third down stop, roughing the passer penalty. They ended up getting a field goal. So that was our ball now. Roughing the passer on Ngakoue, they get a field goal. 3rd and 4, Carr checked into a swing screen and threw the ball behind Drake.
Catchable, but not perfect.
It hit his hands, but I mean, that you can't expect a running back to turn against his momentum.
An $11 million receiving running back, yes.
Come on, RJ.
Come on, an $11 million receiving running back.
Okay,
is that an uncatchable ball?
Listen to me. If you're a starting NFL quarterback, you need to make that throw. Anything Carr
should have thrown it better. Drake should have caught it.
Stop.
Both
Carr
should
have thrown it better,
and Drake should have caught it. Right? God, no, you're saying Kenyon Drake, it's impossible for him to make this catch.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
Okay.
I'm saying the whole sequence of events that led to the play not being successful started with Carr's error.
Sure. He made the first error.
Bob, get him, Bob. Okay, let's move on.
That was catchable.
So
he's saying it's catchable. He's with me.
He's laughing at you saying that it's catchable. So look,
no, it was
if you check into that play, and you throw a bad pass, that's on you. All right. Okay. When we have to punt, defensively, 3rd and 12, Jefferson lined up offsides on an Ngakoue sack. Jefferson lined up in the neutral zone probably 6 or 7 times before that, but they just didn't call it. I was screaming at my TV. We had a 3rd down stop.
Well, it's easy that you can miss that because he's such a small guy. You know, like who's gonna see a NFL defensive tackle?
Like
you know,
310 pounds.
He kind of blends. He kind of blends into the grass. You know,
for sure. And we had a 3rd down stop, face on, personal foul, helmet to helmet contact. Half the distance to the goal resulted in a touchdown. So that's 10 points already, right there. 10 points off of 3rd down stop penalties. So it's just one thing that we're doing over and over again. So we stopped them defensively, but the penalties kept the drive going. So that's already 10 points.
7 penalties for 77 yards. I think 6 of those were defense. I think. Yeah. If you count the Josh Jacobs, unnecessary roughness.
So end of half, throw a ball down the middle of the field, complete, and Carr runs up to the line and waits for the play and this and that. We had 2 timeouts. Why not call a timeout? Get yourself together. You can try something else. You throw it deep to the middle of the field again. You have another timeout. If you're trying to get, again, situational football, you're trying to get points and double dip because you get the ball back after the half. Another absolutely awful display of situational play. Carr, bad interception. We were down. It was still it was 9-point game. We have the ball. Okay, we still have some time. Carr throws a pretty bad pick.
Can we just take a second and say like how shitty CBS is with their replays and not showing
they're bad.
22s?
They're really bad.
Like half the I would easily say probably 30% of Carr's completed passes you didn't see the actual full motion. It was like Carr throwing the ball, the guy would catch it, and then they'd go and you'd see the tackle. You're like, I wanted to see how this played out. And then the replay, they'll give you a replay. They didn't give you an alt. They'd be like, all right, you don't need to see the ball. And the replay is just like zooming in on Renfro in slow motion going down.
Whoa, what an angle. What a camera angle. No, it's bad. It's bad.
Did he beat the defender? Was it a hard catch, an easy catch? Like,
yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was terrible camera work today.
Again, situational defense. There's still a chance. A little less than 2 minutes left. Actually, it was 2 minutes after the 2-minute warning. A little less than 2 minutes left in the game. You can still score and try an onside kick, whatever, but not when you fumble the ball. Again, bad situational play. And this is how you can have better stats than a team and still lose, because when those big situations come, you just shit the bed. And this is the 3rd game in a row now where we've had terrible situational play, and it's cost us.
The Raiders. The Raiders have had this like weird knack to have kind of like good meat and potatoes stats, but like penalties are always bad. Turnovers have been bad recently. Red zone, 3rd down, right? Like, like the meat and potatoes stats always look like Derek Carr, 1927, 215 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Like, okay, that's like a below average game, not a bad game. He had a bad game. But the meat and potatoes stats always kind of look okay.
Well, that's the problem with looking at that and not looking at the peripherals. Like I said, the situational football, that's not very good. And dare I say, Carr is not very good. The last 2 weeks, he had a chance to double dip, did not do well before the half. Towards the end of the game, 2 costly turnovers. Yeah, it's the situational gameplay, man. Look, we're not very talented anyway. Now, are we more talented than we have been? Of course we are. There's certain spots we are. We're not that talented to be able to, like, if we had a better situational play, yes, we can get away with the talent on this roster. But you can't have the talent on this roster, not have your star player play bad, and have bad situational play.
It's like how I just said about the defense. Like I just said about the defense. Like, if we're gonna play with this type of roster, then it's got to be executed well, mistake-free football. If that's okay, if that's the style of football you want to play, you can win that way. That is a fine philosophy of football.
That's Bill Belichick football. That's Bill Belichick football. Let me run the ball.
You can't always have more penalties. You can't be doing stupid turnovers. The little, the 3rd and 1s you gotta get right. Like,
Yeah, you have to have those
that's the
plays.
problem.
You have to have those plays in the bank. You have to be able to identify that. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it is what it is. It's situational football and it's not like a blanket statement. There's definitely plays that can help and can pick up these third downs, but. Look, Jesse, we're not turning on each other. I think we're saying the same thing, but just from a different angle.
Yeah. Oh no, we turned on each other years ago. This is just an extension of it. Let's talk about that one drive. Like, and you know which one I'm talking about. Like the one amazing, like when the Raiders are at their best. This was our drive. 3 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. Waller catch, Foster Moreau, sick route, great ball, great catch. Ran kind of like an in and then out, like kind of like a fade, but faked it in. Beautiful assessment by Carr on that touchdown. Like they were kind of confused. They moved like a linebacker out to cover Moreau, and Carr's like, easy, bam, beautiful. And that just kind of like, and that's what got me was like, we've been saying this for like, I'm the last guy to be like, throw the rock, go crazy. Let's be the greatest show on turf. It's like that's not like my version of football, but that's when the Raiders are at their best. Like that. This season specifically is when it's wide open like that.
Years.
That's when they're playing great. I feel like because they were down 10, Greg Olson's like, okay, let's fucking start tossing the rock. Let's go, right? And what happened? 3 plays, 75 yards, the only touchdown of the game for the Raiders. I feel like they need to have some sort of like offensive assistant or an intern have like this giant green screen in front of Greg Olson with a fake score that makes it always look like the Raiders are down by 10. So Olsen just calls plays like he thinks he's down by 10.
Yeah, it's the problem is with that is if you don't convert, you're going to be doing similar to what we're doing now. We're going to give up a lot of field position, and we're not going to, get many first downs, and we're going to pump the ball a lot. But we're doing that anyway. The issue, if you're going to be a pass-heavy offense, you have to be able to scheme your players open, and we're just not good at that. The teams that are playing us are just basically doing what we do to them. They're playing back, not allowing anything deep, and Carr doesn't know what to do, man. We talked about it last week, and okay, is it impossible for us to heat up and make the playoffs? No, it isn't. Do we have to do a lot of things better? Of course we do. TD, I agree with you. We need to do more 2 tight end sets. But
would you rather have on the field, Zay Jones or Foster Moreau? Foster Moreau.
Yeah, Foster Moreau. Line Waller out wide. The thing is, you can get to it from a different way. You can line up jumbo, and you can motion Waller deep out wide, and it'll tell you a little bit about their defense.
Foster Moreau's touchdown, he was out wide. He's the furthest out lined up receiver.
The great thing about Foster Moreau's touchdown catch is he like late played the catch where he's just running. He looks back and he's like, all right, this guy has no idea where the ball is. The only chance he has is if I show too early and he lifts up an arm and the ball just hits his hand or something. If I sit here and I just wait to the last minute to reach up and grab it, he has no shot. And that's exactly what he did. And that's a receiver. That's what a receiver does. A wide receivers do that. But this is a tight end that doesn't really play, didn't get a lot of targets. Moreau's a definite weapon. We need to use them both more often. I think the maybe two of the top 3 receiving weapons that we have behind Renfrow. I think Renfrow's in the mix as well. But
Renfrow has obviously like a limited, like he's a very specific like slot route run, intermediate type of thing. But like that Foster Moreau touchdown catch, like that was the best exception to the rule that we've had with this offense. Is you're not like I said, like they've been playing the team that they've been scheming the team that they want them, the team that they have. That was a brilliant scheme, right? You have a second string tight end lined up as the widest wide receiver. How do you cover? Do you use a wide receiver? Do you use a corner? Do you use a safety? Do you use a linebacker? Use a linebacker. Foster Moreau's going to eat up 80% of the linebackers in this league, which he did there, right? It's like,
yeah.
Why, like that one drive? It's like, why can't you do that more? Why can't you just do all the things you've had problems with? Just pretend you're down by 10 and just play football that way and call plays like that, Greg Olsen.
It just seems like Greg Olsen and Derek Carr, whatever percentage you want to give of who's calling the plays or whatever, like they're trying to outthink the room. And it seems like it's more of a scheme thing than anything. It's like you have players. What was Carr doing the first 5 games of the season, the first 4 to 5 games, or even the first 7? Excuse me, when we were 5-2, he was looking at matchups. He was trying to get the right match. He was changing the plays to get matchups for his teammates. He's not doing that. He's not really doing that anymore, and it's concerning.
It was also kind of what happened today. Is like, remember, even during that 3-game win streak, we were down 90% of those games. Like we were playing from behind.
Come back, yeah.
It was first quarters, first halves. You're playing terrible, and so like, all right, we're down by 10. Let's open things up. Boom, we crush it. It's like, and that's been a consistent thing throughout this season. Even though we're getting this late off, this second half offensive collapse, when we're playing like we're down or when we are down is when the offense is at its best. With Gruden, without Gruden, first quarter, second quarter, first half of the season, second half of the season. That's been the only consistent part of this offense.
Yeah. Let's break down a couple of things here in case you guys aren't already crying.
Great.
Third down efficiency. Third down efficiency. The Bengals were 8 for 16 on third down. We were 1 for 7. That follows up a 1 for 9 performance. So I guess we're getting better. We're
going in the right direction, Soto.
You want to hear? Look at it. The Bengals ran 70 plays. We ran 47. We ran probably 58, 56% of their plays.
You know what's crazy? We only had 10 less total yards than the Bengals. Bengals had 288 total yards. We had 278. Again, we moved the ball. We can move the ball.
Here's the thing: it's a lot of these things are but yet you have to add on, 80 penalty yards.
Yep.
Because
77.
That made them that basically was their scores. It was the penalty yards, and it kept drives going.
2 turnovers.
So I mean, look, on top of this, 8 for 16. add on 3 for 3 third down penalties on stops. So there were 11 for 19. It's just bad football, man. We're just not playing well. And the thing is we're becoming less disciplined as the year goes on, as opposed to becoming more disciplined and we're becoming less aware of who we are as a team, and we're becoming less. We're executing at a lower level than we have. And it's just everything's going in the wrong direction, man. And I don't know when you want to have this conversation, RJ, but I'm ready to have it whenever you are.
Are you pregnant?
Yes. I'm pregnant with ideas.
Have the abortion. We don't have to have a conversation. I'll
flush that kid out.
I got a coat hanger in my closet right now.
Go to the car wash and get that thing flushed out.
Has anything good ever happened after somebody said, I don't know when you want to have that conversation, but we have to have it? There's never ever been. It's never been like, good. I want to give you a raise. When do you want to have that conversation? I baked this cookie for you. When do you want to have that conversation?
I'll take it.
Whatever the case.
But let me know, man. I'm ready to have it whenever you are.
Let's do it. So because we're going to be playing Dallas on Thanksgiving, Thursday game coming up, we're going to do our show Tuesday. Normally we do our regular midweek actual shows on Wednesday. We're going to do it Tuesday, so it's kind of in between the two. So look out for the podcast and obviously the YouTube video on Tuesday. Post-game show for the Cowboys on Thursday, Thanksgiving. We'll both be full of turkey doing the show live right after the game. It's the middle game on Thanksgiving. We'll do that. And then maybe we'll do next weekend some kind of special, either like a really cool interview. Maybe that's when we'll have like the real rebuild conversation or something, depending on how that Cowboys game goes. Silver lining, the Cowboys got beat the fuck up today.
That's not a silver lining because they bounced back well. they needed to beat the Chiefs so we can kind of stay within a little bit of a striking distance. That's not a good thing for us.
Well,
for them to get embarrassed.
No,
by
I
the
mean,
Chiefs.
Not the score, but like physically beat up. CeeDee Lamb out, Amari Cooper out, Tyron Smith out, Blake Jarwin, DeMarcus Lawrence. Like they're.
Do you think it's going to matter?
Gritty.
I don't think it's going to matter. I think we're going to get stomped.
I mean, it all matters.
It is going to make a difference. That's what I should say.
Yes. Does it mean we'll win is another question, right? At least it's going to give us.
Oh, well, that's what I'm thinking. You think it's going to be a difference between winning and losing?
I mean, they're probably not going to have their number 1 and number 2 wide receivers. That's pretty big, and a couple key defensive playmakers. Short week. Well, I mean, anytime you add more, like variables.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
no, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It's you add more variables to a game. Really short week. Injuries. Short week. Right. Like it's all kind of. Well, we need anarchy. That's how we're going to win our games. Anarchy. We need a hurricane to hit, move the game, move the location of the game, last minute somewhere else. We think you're playing on turf, but it's actually grass. Just anarchy. That's what we need. Anarchy.
Yeah. It doesn't look all that good on paper and on the field. The Cowboys are the better team, but it doesn't always matter. Sometimes a team can play better. Like today, I thought we were the better team than the Bengals. Unfortunately, we didn't play better. We played rather poorly in key situations, and that cost us the game.
The Raiders are like the hotter chick at the bar, but the one with like deeper issues.
Like super annoying, like crazy, like dumb laugh.
They're the hotter chick with the annoying laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh, yeah, perfect. This chick's hot.
I still fuck her, dude. I don't care.
That's what I know. I know you would. But then you're not funny, so that helps because she never laughs.
True.
I'm not kidding. That's your go-to. You're the funny guy.
That's what gets
their
me
losses
laid.
on post-game shows.
That's what gets me laid, honestly, is how funny I
am. Another couple silver linings that I want to get to. I tweeted it earlier. I thought Darren Waller was going to have like a comeback game. I think all the talk of Darren Waller not being a part of the offense was really getting to Olsen, Carr, Waller. Waller is such a team player. He'll never say it like out loud. Like, why aren't I getting more targets or why aren't I being a bigger part of the offense? But I think it was getting to him a little bit. I think they all kind of heard that noise. Plus the Bengals, like they don't play like, they don't have a very adjustable defense. Like they're kind of like, we play this defense and that's it. Because normally, like all the other teams have been just bracketing Darren Waller, like rightfully so. He's the best player on our offense, best player on our team. And so I thought, okay, Darren Waller, I think he should have a big game today. And he did. 7 receptions, 116 yards, hit a long of 31, 8 targets, caught 7 of them. He had a good game. My second favorite team in football are the Carolina Panthers because they gave us Denzel Perry.
Denzel Perry for like a 6th round pick. And then we got
6th rounder. And a decent contract.
Yeah, for a fifth, and we got a 6th back. Yeah.
On a decent contract, too. Like, we got him, what, two or three seasons?
I think we have it for 3 years.
And it's, yeah, like you talk about all these really good guys that we brought in on defense, but they're all on 1-year contracts. Perryman's the one dude we actually kind of got locked up for a decent rate for a while.
Dude, and for this year, we didn't even pay his roster bonus. They had already paid his roster bonus. Like, we got him for almost nothing. We got him for game checks. That's it. We didn't get him for anything else.
It's so rare to be able to be like, yeah, we totally pulled one over on that other team in an exchange. That never happens.
Dude,
that never happens as a Raider.
Perriman, 12 tackles, 9 solo, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 passes defensed.
All over the place.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Panthers saw in that physical that made them want to get rid of him. I don't know what it was.
It wasn't that they wanted to get rid of him. It was that they liked the guys that they had already. They were a little bit younger and they were a little bit cheaper. And like, okay, he's good, but we don't have the space for him, and he's taking up some cap going forward. We don't really feel we need to have it. He hasn't shown us much because he was hurt the entire training camp, and I mean, he's doing us good over here. He's one of the bright spots in our defense. He's probably one of the more consistent. He's probably the most consistent player on our defense. Leads the NFL in tackles. That's all you need to hear.
we're actually in a decent spot for linebackers for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah,
Like,
I think Littleton's got to go.
Yeah, that's the thing is we know who to, Gwit.
Kwiatkowski's got to go. Littleton's got to go.
But then we've got Nicholas Morrow coming back, who's great and cheap. Denzel Perriman playing lights out. Like,
we need to get another guy.
Yeah,
we got Abram hitting the buffet, hopefully, and becoming a linebacker because that was okay. That last pass you were asking me who it was. Faison had the flat, and Abram had the deep corner, and he was just
again the CBS fucking camera work. Like I couldn't tell if he was like Faison was like covering somebody or not.
Yeah, there was a guy in the flat. There was a guy right there by the goal line. Yeah,
I couldn't see. There's like, all right, here's a zoom in of like Faison kind of like Abram was coming from like deep center, and Faison was kind of coming back, and
and he stopped.
Abram
he
got
was
there
coming,
first.
and then he stopped, and then he kept going. It's like, what are you doing, dude? They're just not aware with the ball in the air. He's not aware. So yeah, man, I'm pretty bummed about this game. Again, is it mathematically impossible for us to make the playoffs? No, but considering getting the 10 wins, going 5-2 the rest of the way with the teams that we have to play,
it's a weird AFC situation because there's so many teams with 5 and 6 wins, right? And they're all still playing each other. Like the Bengals still have to play the other 3 teams in the AFC.
I love your optimism, man. I really do. I really
like this is just the math of it. Like again, if the Raiders keep playing this way, it's irrelevant who we play, right? We can play the Jets 8 times in a row, or we're gonna lose 6 of them, right? But my point being is like, it's not like there's like 6 teams ahead of us that are just like 4 games ahead of us, right? That's not the case. Everyone's kind of booked around each other, and they all have to play each other. So there's not like there's 3 teams ahead of us that have this real easy schedule. Like the Bengals still have to play the rest of the AFC West. Like it's going to be, whether the Raiders are in, just as a general NFL situation, whether the Raiders are in it or not, it's anarchy right now in the center of the AFC West. Like the wild card race is literally like 13 teams' game. Like there's like 12 teams that are like in the wild card race, just based on how they're all, what the records are and who they're playing and when they're playing.
Yeah, so the last 3 weeks following our bye, we've scored 16, 14, and 13 points. So I think we should beat the Cowboys 11-10 tomorrow or on Thursday. That would be
beat
like
the Washington football team 9-6.
9-6. Look, we can do it. We can do it.
What is our schedule moving forward?
We got the Cowboys Thursday.
Cowboys,
the next week we
one.
have
Washington
right? At home, at Chiefs, at Browns, home against the Broncos. At Colts, which is now a nightmare game. The Colts are playing really well, and at home against the Chargers to round out the season.
All teams with winning records except Washington.
Yeah, we need to find a way to get 5 wins out of this at least, to be 5-8 or 10-8, excuse me. So if we can get 5 wins out of here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Can we beat Washington 4 times and have that count as 4 of the 5?
Look, short week, anything can happen, especially when you have a lot of injuries. I still think the Cowboys have enough, but their secondary has not played great besides Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
So we can throw the ball against them if we stay away from Diggs.
Our pass defense is still good. Like it's still a really good pass defense, and they're not gonna play with their number 1, number 2 wide receiver. Again,
yeah, I mean it's possible. They're
better than us on all 3 aspects of football, but
we still have to go out there.
But I also like the way this season is going too. Like every awesome team is lost to a shitty team.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So here we go. Look,
this is the anarchy.
Where are the 5 wins here? Cowboys, Washington. Washington's played well too the last couple of weeks, but let's say Cowboys, Washington. I don't have any confidence that we're going to be able to. We're going to get outcoached by the Chiefs again. The Browns are up and down. The Broncos, who knows? Maybe the Broncos and the Colts.
Our best chances of wins.
Broncos and Chargers.
This is the order of most likely to beat to least likely. Washington 1, Broncos 2,
Okay.
Browns 3.
I say Chargers 3 because the Browns run the ball really, really well, and we're not all that great at stopping the run.
I just think Baker Mayfield's going to lose it for him.
I don't think Baker's going to play, honestly. I don't think Baker's going to play. I think he's going to be out by that time. He's so hurt. He shouldn't be out there right now, I don't think.
And even more so than like whoever. And I think
Chase Keenum over this Baker Mayfield is an upgrade.
And then maybe Colts.
I don't think we have any chance against the Chiefs because it's like checkers and chess. Andy Reid and his staff are just made us look foolish coaching wise. I mean, you still have to go out there and play the game. I understand that. And there is still a chance for us to go out there and make it happen. But we have to clean up these, again, we clean up these penalties, clean up the situational play. When you got when you have three and outs that you give first downs on penalties and they cost you 10 points in the game, it sucks. And when in the second half, when you turn over the ball twice in the second half, you're not going to win many games. You're not going to. So,
again, it's the weird Raiders offense where the foundation is there. We can move the ball against anybody, but we shoot ourselves in the foot. Penalties, turnovers, third down, red zone. Again, and that's where like this weird, like undeserved optimism in me is because I've seen the Raiders be able to move the ball against anybody. It's just
but you also
when it matters the most,
shit the bed
falls apart
by playing terrible. You've also seen that, so you can't take one without the other. They've shown you who they are.
That's my point, right? Is like the foundation of good football is there. It's just everything on top of it is just a house of cards.
No, it's not. The foundation is playing sound football, not making mistakes. Now that's the foundation. If you have that, you're gonna keep yourself. If you don't make mistakes, and if you don't have a lot of penalties, stuff like that keeps you in games. Being able to move the ball, that's great. But if you have a lot of dumb penalties, that's not the foundation.
We're playing word games. Like the biggest part of football is moving the ball, which we can do, but all the other things that need to surround it to work, we don't do. Whether it's the foundation or the core, well, I don't know, whatever vernacular you want to use. Soto. All right. So again, midweek show will be a day early. Lucky you guys. We'll get a good guest because it's Thursday, Thanksgiving
week,
Cowboys. We'll do something special for you. Then of course we'll have the post game show to go with your turkey and cranberry on Thursday. Real quick, most underrated holiday, Thanksgiving. 4-day weekend, and you don't have to do anything. Like Christmas, you got to shop, you got to travel, you got to see all the family. Halloween, you got to like get a costume, do work. Thanksgiving, I deep fry that bird. That is 100% of my responsibilities on Thanksgiving. 4-day weekend. Can't beat it.
I mean, you have to take a look at the risk reward here. If you screw that up, then you no longer have a house. So there's the risk reward. If you fuck up deep frying that turkey, the whole property's burnt.
You realize how brain dead you have to be to burn down your house deep frying a turkey? And I know it happens multiple times every year, but there's also a lot of brain dead people in this world.
There is.
I'm not one of them, at least yet.
Not yet, at least. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Raiders again lose to the Bengals 32-13. Bengals move on to 6-4. I think they're leading the wild card race with that record. I'll double check that. Raiders now dropping to 5-5. Out of the playoff picture. If the playoffs started today, short week coming up. Cowboy Stadium, Thursday afternoon. All right, we'll be back on Tuesday. Until then, knock on wood if you're with me.